I need to make a confession. Sometimes I find myself thinking, is that it? And the moment the thought comes along, guilt shows up. I feel guilty for thinking about it because I have everything. I have family members that love me. I have a job. I have a beautiful daughter, right? There are a lot of people out there that will kill to have what I have. Or a lot of people that have way less than what I have and they are grateful for their life. So why should I think that what I have is not enough? And when that thought comes and that guilt shows up, my next reaction is to just shut it down. And the funny part about that is that it doesn't matter how much I try to shrink it, how much I try not to think about it, it doesn't really go away, does it? It stays there until you find yourself in that same situation again. And if you're someone that feels like, regardless of how well your life is going, you still want more, and then you start feeling guilty for the thought of it, this video is for you. Because this feeling is actually more common than we want to admit, right? It's one of those things that you're not allowed to say it out loud because you're scared of being judged by your friends, by your family members. And like I stated earlier, you don't want to come off as someone who is ungrateful for what they have. And your best chance is to act like nothing happened. We never felt it. We never talked about it. So in this video, I want us to talk about it, not to judge ourselves, not to find a solution, but to mention it out loud because it's a reality. So where does this guilt come from? You might be wondering. How do we get to the point where we feel like we want more, even though we seem to have it all? We seem to have love in our life. We seem to have enough to get by financially. We seem to have friendship, genuine friendship. We have a spouse that cares about us, that loves us. We have beautiful, healthy family members. Why do we get to the point where we feel like that's not enough? I believe one of the main reasons is because of the comparison trap. We look at people that have less than us. Less money, broken homes, less opportunities. And with that we think, who am I to complain? Because I have it all. Who am I to want more? And that thought brings us to ignore our desires. We get used to minimizing our needs because, oh my gosh, someone else has less than us and they seem to be happy. We minimize our desires because we don't want to come across ungrateful, or we don't want to portray that we're unhappy. Because sometimes people don't understand that you can have it all and still not feel fulfilled, if that makes sense. And by the way, when I'm saying wanting more, I'm not here talking about the material part of it. I'm not talking about, oh, I want more money, or I want a bigger house, or none of that. It is way deeper than that. Because here's the thing, gratitude is very important. Perspective is valuable. I'm not saying we should ignore our blessings, not the case. Always be grateful with what we have. It's actually a message I'm always preaching in this channel, that we always have to be content with what we have. But I don't think gratitude and desires are opposite. I don't believe you have to choose either or. They both can coexist. You can be grateful with every single thing you have and still want more. It's possible. And I also think part of why we feel so guilty to say this out loud is because we fear of being judged. As a woman, you are taught to act a certain way, to behave a certain way. We are taught to shrink. We are taught to be content with what we have. We are taught to be good wives, to always have a big smile on your face. Right? We learn that good wives don't ask for too much. And when we do want, when we dream, when we desire, when we imagine, when we allow ourselves to imagine something more, it becomes dangerous. You feel wrong about yourself. You feel selfish because you're a good woman supposed to always have a smile on her face, regardless of what's going on around her, regardless of her dreams. You probably believe that. And every time you feel like you want more, you feel selfish, you feel like a bad mom. But here's the thing, you wanting more is not selfish. It just makes you human. Because regardless of your roles, as a mom, as a woman, as an employee, as a whatever, you still have a responsibility with yourself. You're still a human that has dreams, that has desires. that must feel alive. And that, my friend, doesn't need a permission. Having desire doesn't make you ungrateful. It makes you alive. And when that voice comes and tells you you're being selfish for wanting more, that voice is not wisdom. It's just fear of disappointment, fear of being judged, the fear of wanting something and not getting it. And guess what we do to avoid everything mentioned previously? We play safe. We shrink those dreams to something reasonable. We tell ourselves we are content, we are happy, when really we're just surviving. So let's talk about what wanting more really means, because I believe sometimes we assumed that is related to material stuff. To an extent, it can be true, because the first time I felt this way, I thought I was being materialistic, right? I thought I was being selfish, like I said earlier. And I thought I wasn't being realistic because my situation at that moment was fine. I couldn't come up with an issue in my life, if that makes sense. My marriage was fine. My relationship with my friends and family was fine. So I felt guilty for having that feeling, if that makes sense. And I was like, maybe it's because I probably need a better job, right? That can pay me more money. Or you know what? I would like to live in a better house. Or I need more money on my bank account so I can achieve more that, if that makes sense. But then the more I was on that thought, developing the idea of wanting more, I realized that material things had nothing to do with it. It was deeper than that. I actually didn't need a bigger house, because that means more responsibility, more things to fix, more cleaning to do. So where I live is a very safe neighborhood, because there's no place safe on earth these days. I couldn't go to my closet and be like, oh, I think I need a $2,000 pair of shoes or this 5,000 bag, because I don't care about those things. So the more I sat on that thought, I was like, no, I don't need stuff. And I find out that what I really wanted was more quality time with myself, more quality time with my friends and families, more real connections, not logistics. I wanted more creativity. I wanted a space to make something that didn't mean anything to anyone but me. An example of that is this YouTube channel you're watching. I wanted a place where I can be myself, I can express myself, and maybe along the way, I could inspire someone to do the same thing for themselves. I wanted more growth. I wanted to feel like I can be more than just my roles. I wanted to feel engaged with my life. I wanted to feel alive, pretty much. And that's what more meant for me. No more stuff, but more life. Maybe you found yourself in that same situation. Maybe in your case, you wanting more. It's not about you being ungrateful. It's not about you wanting more stuff. Maybe because that part of you knows you can become more than just surviving, more than just getting through the day, more than just being someone's mom, someone's wife, someone's daughter, more than just your roles. In other words, more than just existing in service to everyone else. What if that wanting is actually a compass? What if it's pointing you to something bigger than yourself? What if instead of pushing it down and shrinking and act like it has never happened, you actually take a time, sit on it and listen to it? Just sit on it and ask yourself, what is this wanting more is actually trying to tell me? How can that wanting more upgrade my life? Because you're allowed to enjoy your life, not just be on a survival mode. I think we need to give ourselves permission to want more. You need to give yourself permission. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. As women, we need to give ourselves permission to want more. We need to allow ourselves to be more than just someone's X, Y, and Z. This is your life. You can still be grateful with everything you have, with everyone you have in your life, and still go after what you really desire, after your dreams, after what makes you feel alive. Because here's the thing, the world is not gonna come and tell you, hey, it's okay to dream. Hey, it's okay to want more. As a matter of fact, the world tells you the opposite. Especially as women, we live in a society that has set standards for us, how we should look, how we should dress, how we should X, Y, and Z. Society has set standards of how you should behave as a woman. of how much weight you should have as a woman, or how you should dress, or what's beauty and what's not. And it's only your responsibility to think outside that box, because that box was made with someone else's measurements, not yours. So this is an invitation for you to start doing things for yourself. It's a beautiful thing to be someone's mom. It's a beautiful thing to take care of your family. But you know what's more beautiful? Doing all these things while taking care of your own needs. A mom that takes care of her own needs, she's a better mom, a wife, and a human being out there. So friend, let's give ourselves permission to let our desires, to let our dreams come true. Stop waiting for permission. It's not coming. Break that box. That box was not created with you in mind. Don't look for the door, just break it. Who has the power to tell me which box I'm supposed to fit in? Nobody. I'm allowed to create my own box based on my own measurements. Because just think about it. Me and you can even be in similar situation. We can even be twins and have the same family members. But we're still gonna be on two different categories. So that box that society has created for you to sit on, break it. It wasn't meant for you. I remember the first time I ever admitted to myself that I want more. Despite how comfortable I was in my life, I wanted more. It's not something I spoke to anybody about. I was just there sitting with my thoughts. And I realized that unless I do something about it, I was still gonna be the same unhappy dolly ever. And I had enough of that thought. And like I said earlier, when I'm talking about wanting more, it has nothing to do with material stuff. But you have to be happy in your own skin. It's nobody else's job but yours to take care of yourself, to discover yourself, to find ways to stay alive, physically alive, emotionally alive. Because you're a beautiful person, you're a beautiful human being, and you deserve that. So my friend, this is me giving you that permission. You're allowed to want more. You're allowed to have dreams that are just yours. You're allowed to want something different. You're allowed to be delusional, as a matter of fact. Be delusional. Be beautiful. Be delusional about what you want. Because wanting more doesn't make you ungrateful. It makes you human. And you are one. And the people who love you, the ones who really love you, they want you to be fulfilled, not just functional. Here's one thing I really want to make clear. Sometimes when we hear you deserve more, we tend to think that it means add more to your plate, work harder, hustle more, or add more achievements to your list. But that's not what I'm talking about here at all. Not the case. Wanting more is about doing more of what matters to you the most. That's the difference. It's about realigning your life about the things that actually fills you up. It's not about adding but subtracting to make more space. To me, it's something like saying no to things that are not aligned with my goals. They are not aligned with that version of Dolly I'm becoming. It means saying no to tasks that don't really matter to me anymore, and make that space to use it on things that actually matter to me, even if it's something simple as sitting on my couch, drinking my tea in peace, reading my magazine or my book, whatever the case might be. I've learned that less is more. It gives me peace of mind. It gives me energy. In other words, to me, wanting more these days is being intentional with how I spend my time. And I don't want you to get a wrong idea. It's not easy, especially at the beginning. You're gonna have a lot of challenges, but it's worth it. Because there are days where I still struggle, right? There are days where I still have to deal with those battles because I'm human. But one thing for sure, I stopped feeling guilty about wanting more. Because wanting more to me is just a way of telling myself that it's more out there for me. Here is what I want to leave you with. If you've been shrinking your dreams to make other people feel comfortable, stop it. And if, most importantly, you've been telling yourself that wanting more makes you selfish, I'm here to confirm It's not. You're allowed to want more, and you are so capable of creating it. Not by working harder, not by doing everything, but by getting clearer on what matters to you the most. Thank you for allowing me to be honest with you, to have this genuine conversation, because sometimes it helps to let things out. If by any means you need any help when it comes to focusing on what really matters to you and being intentional with your time, I'm going to leave a free guide down below that can help you on that process. And on that note, my friend, again, thank you so much for being here with me. And I hope this video today made you realize that you have permission to want more. You deserve to feel alive, one baby step at a time. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.